Hello friends, I'm Jonathan Pishner with Apex Counseling, coming to you with our second video in our series on how to have the best mental health possible during a crisis. So right now we're all experiencing the global pandemic, the COVID-19 virus that is occurring. A lot of people are under orders to quarantine. A lot of businesses are closed. We're in this very strange situation. And having good mental health during that can be difficult, but it's our firm belief that people can make a lot of choices that can really be positive and beneficial for their mental health in order to navigate this crisis in the best way possible. So today is really all about kind of selecting behaviors that are going to be most beneficial for you. So one of the things that has occurred to everybody, we have all lost something from what's occurring because, most of us are required to be at home, work remotely. We've lost a job. Some people are working extra. There's just a lot of things that are happening right now that have really caused us to lose things that we care about in our life. And to highlight a few of the things that people are really struggling with having lost. Some people have lost jobs. Some people have far less social connectedness because they have to isolate. Some people are required to work from home and their job is now so different that it's not really the work they are used to doing. So the reason this is important is because when we lose things that are important to us and we don't know how to work with that, it's very easy for that to create a feeling of helplessness. Now, there are a lot of emotional states in humans that, even when negative, can be somewhat useful. The sense of helplessness is always destructive. That is always a destructive state for a human being to be in. So one of the most important things is knowing to fight against that. And one of the easiest ways you can do that, at least in this situation, is by attempting to return to some sense of behavioral normalcy, like gaining back some of what has been lost within this. So let's talk about a couple of potential examples, but one thing that's very important to understand is that this is going to be highly individualized between people. So I might give 2 or 3 examples, none of which relate to you necessarily, but the principle is the thing to follow because you might have to get creative in how to apply this to your own life. So if we look at a couple of examples, one of the things people are very much missing out now is the sense of social connectedness. Many people used to get that from in-person gatherings. Like there's a few people who did it primarily online, but that wasn't the norm up until a couple of weeks ago. So a lot of people are now not seeing as much of their friends or their family or their colleagues. Let's say one of your best times to get social connectedness was maybe you had lunch with your colleagues every day at work. Now that's gone. Now you're working from home. So a way that you might look at regaining a sense of behavioral normalcy is doing a similar behavior by virtual. Like when we're at home, when we're working at home, it's sometimes hard to think like, oh, well, yeah, let me inconvenience my work day to go do this thing. But if you're feeling a sense of loss from that, replacing that in the best way possible is one of the best things you can do for your mental health. Because what this does is it gets you away from helplessness and provides you a sense of empowerment and agency. You're now doing something to affect your life in the way that you wish to. So, maybe creating that virtual lunch with colleagues or friends or family. A lot of options available, but maybe taking a few minutes away from work to do that, to regain some of that social connectedness, might be important for your mental health. There's a lot of people out there who have lost jobs. If you're in the food services industry, there's a good chance you got laid off. There's so many people who had to either close their restaurants completely or have gone strictly to curbside and delivery so that their staff is cut. So if we look at how can a person achieve a sense of behavioral normalcy within this? Well, at one point they were working and getting paid. Now maybe they're not. One of the most useful things they can do is either finding a new job or looking for the new job their job, because what they're doing within that is they're doing something meaningful to their life. Like, okay, I need a stream of income. I need to go and look for that stream of income in order to, so that I'm not, I can pay my rent or whatever needs to happen. By doing that, you're creating a sense of agency. And one of the things that people sometimes miss is they don't realize how important it is to spend the amount of time that they would have previously spent doing that. So, I mean, if you used to work 6-hour shifts, crafting meaningful work for 4 to 6 hours might be really important for your mental health. That doesn't have to all be spent on a job search. It might be 2 hours of job search, 2 hours of honing a skill. But if you replace 6 hours of work, which was in some way contributing to your life, even if it's just through a paycheck, you take that 6 hours and you replace it with 6 hours of Netflix and YouTube, there's a good chance that that's going to drift into a sense of psychological helplessness given time. Like day 1, not a big deal. Day 7, that might start to produce the wrong result for you. So man, even the people working from home, maybe one of the things that you are now missing is productivity. If you got 3 kids and now you're working from home, man, are you really getting the same level of work done? Probably not. I mean, in a way, you might be staring at a computer screen for 8 hours pretending to work while really you're like half watching the kids. If we were going to produce a sense of behavioral normalcy, we would be thinking of, okay, how can you gain that productivity back? If you work 2 hours after the kids go to bed instead of 8 hours while they're up, and you're more productive that way, that might be the way to regain some sort of normalcy. Now you're being impactful to your life. So, like I said, this is highly individualized. So the principle is attempting to regain a portion of what was lost. But, what was important to you that was lost, and then finding a creative way to do that. I mean, these are very highly individualized. So hopefully the principle is really useful for you, but this one can be tough. It requires some creativity, and you might have to kind of like get ideas from other people. So hopefully that principle is helpful for you, and you can use it to regain some sense of normalcy within your life. As always, if you're struggling, reach out to a licensed counselor to get some assistance if you need to, because we're living in crazy circumstances right now, and it's okay to be struggling. So thank you for hanging out with me for a few minutes today. I am Jonathan Pishner with Apex Counseling, and I will see you in the next video.